Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a lower body relief yoga class for you, and this is going to be great if you recently did a heavy lower body day, you went for a run, you went for a walk, anything that makes you feel tight in specifically the quads, the hammies, and the hips. We're going to hit up all of those areas. So the only thing that you definitely will need for this class is either a yoga strap, or if you have a TheraBand, you can even use like a long sock or a belt, just something that you can use that's kind of like a strap. Even a dog leash works. So a bunch of different things that you can use. So make sure you have something like that. And then if you have blocks available or textbooks, something that will be able to lift the earth up to you throughout the practice, that would also be useful as well. But really just that band or that strap is what's most important. We're going to be doing a lot of held postures today to really get deep into the muscles. And we're going to begin in a child's pose. So let's get there. So I'm going to take a nice wide knee child's pose. So kissing my two big toes together and then sinking my hips all the way back down onto my heels, and then starting to walk my hands out in front of me and not cranking myself and my body into anything crazy to start, but just kind of easing my way back into it. And now would be a good time if you want to set an intention for yourself for your practice today. I was thinking before I started recording what I wanted mine to be today, and these two words came to me, and they are listen and trust. So usually today, as per my workout routine, I do a fairly intense spin class. But I woke up this morning and was feeling very tight in my lower body, and I decided I'm going to trust and I'm going to listen to the signals that my body is giving me, and I am going to go with this instead and know and trust that everything's going to be okay, that I skipped this workout today and listen to the signals my body's giving me and know that this is more appropriate for me today and where my body is today. So if that connects with you too, you can feel free to use that or anything else that comes. It can be words, it could be a phrase, it could just be your breath. Just take 3 more breaths right here. Hopefully feeling the hips a little bit more open than when you first got into this pose. On your next inhale, let's transition ourselves into a tabletop position. So making sure that your knees are in line with your hips and your shoulders are in line with the wrists. And we're just going to take a couple rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, dropping the belly down, looking up. Exhale, rounding the spine. Inhale, drop the belly down, look up. Exhale, round the spine. One more time. Inhale, drop the belly down, look up. Exhale, round the spine. Let's send it all the way back to a neutral tabletop. And just start to shift your hips a little bit side to side. As you shift your hips over to the left, you look over your right shoulder. And as you shift your hips over to the right, you look over your left shoulder. A couple more times like that. And you can turn this into some freestyle moments if you'd like. Maybe even walking your hands out a little bit further in front of you and starting to draw some circles with the hips. Pausing in any spots that feel like they may need it. And we're actually going to use this playfulness, this kind of flow, this dance, this fluid movement to transition our way into our downward facing dog. So when you're ready, when you're satisfied, you tuck the toes all the way under and send it back to your downward dog. And we're going to take 5 full breaths here to really play around. So my hamstring muscles are super tight today. So I'm really going to keep a nice bent knee downward dog to start and kind of play around with pedaling it out. So for me today, I need to focus on my hammies. They definitely need some work today. So really trying to press your hips up and back, so pressing away. And then let's root through the left heel and send the right leg all the way up. Now first you want to keep that leg nice and straight. Then you can start to turn open your right hip and maybe bend your right heel in towards the left side of your glutes. But try to keep your shoulders square. And then center it all the way back out. And on your exhale, squeeze your right knee all the way in towards your chest. And then quietly place your right foot all the way up in between the hands. Now goal here is to try to keep that knee at a 90-degree angle. And we're just going to pause in this runner's lunge for 30 seconds. So if you want to kind of rock it out a little bit, feel it out, you can feel free to do that. Feeling a nice big stretch in the front of the left hip. 15 more seconds. And we're going to drop it down, take it into a low lunge. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Place it all the way back down. Untuck the toes, keep leaning into that knee. Now you can stay here, or maybe take your hands to the top of the quads. Lean into the stretch a little bit more. Maybe raise your arms all the way up. Staying here for another 10 seconds. And we're going to transition into a nice, juicy, delicious lizard pose. And that's going to feel good. All right, let's exhale to send the hands all the way back down to frame the foot. And then we're going to start to inch walk the right foot towards the outside corner of the right side of the mat. And then your right hand's going to come to the inside of the right foot. Now right here, this may be enough for you. If you want to continue taking it a step further, you can try to drop one forearm down and drop other forearm down. Hang out here. You can even start to turn open that right foot like a book, opening out your hip. And then if you want to continue taking it a step further, tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee up. Breathe into the stretch, maybe coming back to that intention, what brought you to the mat today. If that knee was lifted, carefully placing it all the way back down. Staying on the left palm of your hand or left forearm. You're going to reach the right arm all the way up and then reach your right hand back behind you. Bring your gaze to look past your right hand, looking at the right thumb. And then your option here is C, maybe bend your left heel in towards your tush, or maybe reach, grab for your left foot and keep bending the heel closer in towards your glutes to really get into the quad. And then let it go. Pressing back into the palms of the hands and sending our way back into that downward facing dog. Awesome work. And we'll pause here, pedal it out. Option here, if you'd like to take a vinyasa, you can feel free to take a vinyasa. And we'll all meet back in a downward facing dog, where we'll begin to take that stretch on the other side. So, rooting through the right heel, we're going to send our left leg all the way up, keeping it straight to start. And then start to turn open the hip and maybe bend your heel in towards the right glute. Try to keep those shoulders square. Extending the leg all the way back up. Squeeze the knee in towards the chest, and then quietly place your left foot all the way up in between your hands. And we stay here in this runner's lunge. Feeling free to rock it out, feel it out. More seconds here. And on your next exhale, slowly bringing that knee all the way down. Keep leaning into your front knee, and then maybe taking the hands onto the quads. Continue leaning. Or maybe rising the arms all the way up. Keep leaning. Lift the chest open towards the ceiling and drop those shoulders down. Breathe it out. 10 more seconds here. Exhale to slowly release it all the way down. Let's transition into that lizard pose. So start to walk your left foot out to the left corner of the mat and starting to turn open your left foot perhaps. And then again, if you'd like, try to drop one forearm down, other forearm down, and really focus on that opening of the left hip here. Feels so good. If you want to continue taking it a step further, your option is to tuck the back toes under, lift your back knee up, rock a little bit forwards and back perhaps. I'll play around here for about 15 more seconds. And if your back knee was lifted, you can slowly place it all the way back down. Pressing into, this time, your left hand. Bringing the left arm all the way up. And then reaching back behind you, bringing your gaze to the left thumb. Now you can stay here or maybe bend your right heel in towards your tush. If you can, reach, grab for the top of your right foot, feeling a big stretch in the front of the right thigh, your quads. And if you're there, exhale, slowly let it go. You're gonna press back into the right palm. Now, instead of sending it back to a downward facing dog from here, we're gonna tuck the right toes under and actually step that right foot behind the right wrist and sink it down into a Malasana Squat. So 30 seconds here. I'm just gonna play around first with lifting my tushy up and down before I snuggle my way down to sit my hips down and get a little bit lower. Trying to keep my chest nice and lifted here. If you need to stay up, stay up. If you need to lift the heels up, keep the heels lifted up. Lots of different ways that you can be here, but we'll be here about another 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1, bring the arms straight out in front of you. Super, super slow, super, super slow as I slam my way down. I tried to be controlled. We're gonna come down onto the glutes. and extend the legs out. Now you can take as generous bend as you need to. Like I said, my hammies are very, very, very tight, so I'm keeping quite a generous bend in my knees. And then we'll inhale the arms all the way up overhead. Hinge from the hips. Exhale, fold all the way down. Just coming into this nice forward fold for 30 seconds. Now maybe as we stay here, we're able to kind of inch the heels further away from us, getting a little bit deeper into the stretch. Perhaps, 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 perhaps not. If you have that belt or that strap nearby, you can even utilize that and bring it around the feet, and then that can help you kind of get that sensation of getting deeper into it. That's a beautiful option. All right, on our next inhale, we'll slowly begin to roll it all the way up. All right, so from here, we're gonna transition ourselves all the way down to our back. This is when we're gonna get super into the hammies. It's gonna feel great. Perhaps, maybe not great. Maybe that's me being a little overambitious. Okay, so this is where you really wanna make sure that you have your band nearby. Let's slowly bring ourselves all the way down. And once we're down onto our backs, we're going to draw the right knee in towards our chest. Now you want to grab underneath the thigh. So underneath. And big stretch in the hip as you really draw that right knee closer in towards your chest. And then you're gonna start to straighten that right leg all the way up. Now keep a slight bend in your knee. And then this is when you're gonna grab the band and you're gonna wrap the band around the sole of the foot. And now you wanna flex the foot. So big flex. Toes are faced towards your face. You can kind of play around with drawing the toes closer, bringing it away, drawing it closer, bringing it away, and then just trying to keep it as close to your face as you can, so you'll feel that big stretch in the back of the leg. Now, if you're super tight, you might need to keep a bigger bend in the knee. That's fine. No right or wrong here. You can sway the foot as much as you need. All right, so we're gonna transition. Ooh, my leg's shaking a little bit. We're gonna transition to get more into the hip. So I'm just gonna scooch myself over a little bit so I have some more space. All right, so I might potentially be partially off camera. I apologize if I am. All right, we're gonna take both sides of the band into the right hand. Take your left hand on top of the left hip. That's what's gonna keep pressing your left hip down. So you don't want to turn open and let the left glute lift up. All right, and then you're gonna start to open out that right foot. Now, my space is limited here, so I'm hitting my wall a little bit, but hopefully you guys have a nice open space where that does not happen. And again, keep pressing that left hip down. And again, you can play around with bringing it up a little bit, bringing it down, trying to get those right toes closer towards your face, your armpit. Breathing 10 more seconds here. All right, on your next inhale, we'll slowly bring it all the way back up to center. Now we're going to start to get into the IT band, which is going to be the outside of the leg. So what you want to do is you transfer the band now into the left hand, and you're just going to, couple of inches, turn the right foot towards the left side. Now you want to try to keep, for the most part, your right hip down. So I understand you could probably turn all the way open here, but I want you to keep it small range of motion to really target that ITB. And you should feel it right away. So like if you're looking on the clock, I'm maybe at like 10 or 11 o'clock, no more than that. Again, you can try to pull away, pull closer, pull away, pull closer. 10 more seconds here. All right, now one more time, we'll bring it all the way back to center. And then slowly, once again, bend the knee, hands come underneath the thigh. And we're gonna open it out into a spinal twist now. This is gonna feel so, so good. So turn to bring your knee all the way over to the left side. And you really wanna press your right shoulder blade down into the ground as you try to draw your right knee closer towards the ground on the left side. So feeling this in the lumbar spine. Right shoulder blade is pressing down towards the ground. All right, let's hug that right knee all the way back in towards the chest. Hands come underneath the thigh. This time I want you to open out that right knee towards the right armpit, so kind of opening out to the side. Big, big, big squeeze. Just hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1, let it go. Whew. All right. Notice how the length of the legs feel totally different right now, probably. Let's even it out and hit up the left side. So, bending your left knee in towards the chest. And drawing that knee and just holding it here. Important that the hands stay underneath the thigh and not on top of the knee, because you never want to place too much pressure on a joint. So nice stretch, nice release in the hip here. Great, awesome. Let's start to extend that leg all the way up and locate your band. Taking the band on top of the sole of the foot. And again, maybe find a little rock, a little sway. You can keep as generous bending the knee as you need to. All right, so my foot is about to be slightly off camera, but we're gonna take now the band, both sides of the band, into the left hand. Right hand's gonna come on top of the hip, and we'll slowly start to open out the left foot to the left side as much as you can, while still keeping the right hip planted down towards the ground. So don't let that hip come up. And then again, you can play around here with maybe backing off a little bit, coming back in, and then trying to draw your left toes closer towards your face. Try to breathe in some softness. Inhale slowly, bringing it all the way back up. Now transferring the band into the right hand, we're going to start to hit up the side of that left leg. So again, you want to try to keep the left hip down so we're not opening completely. If you're looking at a clock, you're now at either 1 or 2 o'clock. So big stretch in the back of the leg. Sorry, side of the leg rather. Oh, hello, baby. And back leg, get closer. Back leg, get closer. This can be rather intense, so you want to keep this nice and slow. Slowly bring it all the way back to center. Once again, bend into that left knee. Here we go. This is going to feel so awesome. We're going to take it into that spinal twist. Oh, it goes right back. That feels so good. All right. So really trying to drive that left knee down over towards the right side while keeping your left shoulder blade planted down towards the ground. You want to imagine like I'm coming right up above you and I'm pressing your left shoulder blade down into the ground. Good work, you guys. Returning it all the way back to center. Once again, grabbing underneath the thigh and drawing your left knee all the way up towards your left armpit. Breathe out again, feel that stretch in the hip. And on your exhale, slowly let it go, extending that left leg all the way out. Releasing the palms of your hands down onto the ground. Trying to press your low back firmly down into the ground. If there's any final movements, stretches, any final positions that you feel like you need to feel complete before you come into your Shavasana, please feel free to tend to that right now. Pause the video and then come meet me back here. I sincerely hope that you did get a little bit of a lower body relief. I'm definitely feeling a little bit more comfortable in my body now than when I first came down to the mat. Very important to honor your body at the end of your practice and take your Shavasana. So I encourage you to lay here for as long as you'd like and just breathe before you go back and do whatever you need to do today. Take the time to complete your practice and take this time for yourself. Thank you guys so much for joining me today on this yoga practice. And I hope to see you guys right here once again in my next video. Namaste.